Hello and welcome once again to the Cartoonist Studio. Well, this video almost never got made because I kind of lost my voice, but it's come back now, so here we go. On with I think this is going to be the penultimate video on how I create a children's book. I think the last one will be literally about how I put it together, PDFs, uploading to Amazon, and all those various minefields of problems. So without further ado, before my voice gives in, let's go and see me drawing the cover for my Christmas children's book, Big Old Bears, 12 Days Until Christmas, or to Christmas, or till Christmas. I still haven't decided. We'll let you know when it happens. Hello and welcome back to Diary of a Cartoonist. Now this is the final. Is it the final? I don't know. This is either the final or the penultimate in the series about how I produce a children's book. But before we go any further, let's go through the basics. The sort of the general stuff is yes, I've got a bad voice. I've got a croaky voice, and this is caused largely from a cold. And whenever I get a cold or a sore throat, it always goes on to my vocal cords, so I sound husky. With that aside, can't do much about that. I should be okay. Hopefully my voice won't go, and I'll continue to produce the video. I'm a little bit drowsy, so I might sort of be drifting off into weirdness. So this is the final-ish illustration one, definitely the final illustration one. If there's going to be another one, it's going to be about me uploading it. But this one is the cover for the book, Big Old Bears, 12 Days Till Christmas, or Until Christmas, or To Christmas. I'm still working on the title. Now, I've done all the illustrations. I haven't, well, penciled and inked all the illustrations on the inside. That's 13 of them, the 12 days plus the final, Christmas day, shall we say. Yeah, I just got to colour them now. That's all. Now the book is ready to go. So there's another point I want to make, is that I'm not going to be able to colour all the pages between now and next week. And because I do them not in real time, but very close to real time, this drawing was done on the Friday, and you should be seeing it on the Saturday. So you can see I don't really have that much time. Now, I ummed and ahed and struggled and redrew and goodness knows what else to get this cover just right. To get the right design, the right feel, the right everything, I guess. But in the end, the illustration I went for was the first one that I came up with, the one that first popped into my head. And that was Big Old Bear doing a Santa Claus version of a snowman. But I rejected it because I thought, well, that's not really anything to do with Christmas. I know it's a Santa Claus, but outside making a snowman, that's not really part of the story. But when it came down to it, it kind of was. Mainly because it's obviously Santa Claus, goes without saying, but it's just that sort of holiday entertainment spirit, snow, out there in the snow having some fun. And also with my Big Old Bear books, I decided, when I realised that there was going to be more than one of them, that I was going to have some kind of a theme running through all of them. And the theme is, well, there's a few themes actually, but the theme is that the front cover is always a wraparound. So there's going to be another illustration over here. But when you open the book up, is one long illustration. I did that with the first one, and I'm doing it with this, the second. So we got Big Old Bear making a Santa Claus snowman. And on the other page, you're going to have all the other characters making a Big Old Bear snowman. So that's the theme. The other theme with the book, which I did in the first one and I've carried on with this one. Initially it was just that every single page there's going to be a picture. Every single page you've got to find the worm. There's a little worm in there somewhere. But when I did the first Big Old Bear book, I forgot to do the worm on one of the pictures. So I just used to say, oh, we're going to find the worm on every page except one, just to make up for my mistake. But now I think it's become a thing. You've now got to find a worm on each page, but also discover which of the pages doesn't have a worm on it. So there's two things that the children have got to do. So yeah, so those are the themes. So it's ever developing. I know that cartoon strips develop on a regular basis, and I like that about cartoons. Well, I don't do a cartoon strip per se, well, not much anymore anyway. So I thought, well, I'll apply the same principles that I used to love in cartoon strips, those regular themes that you keep going back to, and I'll apply it in my children's book series. I don't know whether anyone's ever done that before. Maybe they have. Maybe they haven't. I don't know. But this is my thing. So this is what I'm going to do. I might thin his face out a bit here, I think. That's it. A bit too big. And resize his his nose, if you like. Yeah, so other things I've been doing is I have some friends who have a coffee shop and craft gallery, art gallery, whatever. Sells the art of local creators. And they asked me if I'd like to go in there and have a stall, sell my books and quite possibly my art. And I hadn't hard about it. I'm not the sort of person that makes a snap decision, never have been. But eventually I thought, oh, go on, give it a go. So I went down there and I was quite surprised because I thought, well, you have to be a certain type of person to want to enjoy cartoons. Not everyone likes them, or they like them, but they don't go, gaga for them. Well, I was surprised. I mean, I've sold quite a few of my books. The biggest surprise, not that, I'm not glad that it's sold, but the biggest surprise was the books that I had 5 initially of the Sleepy Hamlet graphic novel. Not the novel, the graphic novel. Now that was going for sale over here for £15. So I can't think what it was on the .com site. I think it was probably about $17, $18 or something. So it wasn't a cheap one. It was the most expensive one I've got there. But yeah, I sold 4 of them. I think I've sold 4 of them. And that made me happy. But the biggest seller of all of my individual titles was the first Big Old Bear book, which really made me happy. Because I thought, right, I've got a character. The second... All right, okay, let's tell it properly. I've done 2 children's books. One, Big Old Bear, the first Big Old Bear book, which was When the Weather is Nice, which explains what Big Old Bear and his friends do on the perfect summer's day. But before that, the first children's book I ever did was a book I did for my grandson Ryan. I called it Ryan's Dinosaur Dreams. Obviously, he, like lots of young children, they love dinosaurs and what have you. So I did this book, and a lot of people liked it. But it did it sort of largely on Facebook, illustrated it, showed bits and pieces, and people said, "Why don't you put that out as a book?" So I asked my daughter's permission, whose son it was, and she said, "Oh God, yeah, Dad, go for it." So that's what I did. I produced it, and it sold. It still does sell quite well. So I thought, right, and that sort of like kick-started me doing a lot more books. A lot more, all sorts of books really. Cartoon strip series, graphic novels, comics collections. I did greeting cards. I still got those, my own greeting cards, that is. And yeah, and this is these that I took down. So I was really happy that the Big Old Bear, but once they'd seen the Ryan's Dinosaur Dreams, they liked it, and I said, also do other ones. So I showed them the Big Old Bear, and that was it. Second they saw Big Old Bear, nothing else existed. So you maybe realise I've kind of got a character here. I think I've got a good character people like. So right, also when you're doing covers for books, particularly nowadays that a lot of the material is sold on Amazon, you've got to realise that these books are sold or reduced down to an image about this big, and you've got to make sure that it's legible. So the first one I did, which I liked, but it was all the characters decorating a Christmas tree, but you were looking through the window at them. A nice image, lovely image. If it was in a bookstall, then yes, it would look very sort of effective. But if you're selling it through the medium of Amazon, then no, it's not so noticeable. That's a pity really, but there you go. Okay, so now we go to the back page. I have to remember that over here there's going to be a description of what's going on, so I can't make it too big, but it has to be a little bit bigger. That's it. So there we go. That's it. The other characters in there, which is the goose, the owl, the two mice, and the bird, and the worm, of course. Can't forget the worm. Gotta find the worm. And they're doing a snowman version of Big Old Bear. There you go. And that should give enough room at the top there to put the blurb. There's the important barcode. And then I think they've got QR codes on them now. Right, where do we go with this one now? I think I gotta remember not to go too far over, because of course you've got the edge of the page. Although it runs to bleed, still got to give a bit of space free. So let's do the goose. I think originally I had him over this side, but he's too big a character for that. So he has to come over this side now. There we go. I've got another Big Old Bear book already virtually written, which I'll hopefully get to in the new year. That's where Big Old Bear is not well, so it's Big Old Bear's not well. And once again, just to explain it, it'll be explained in all the other videos. Each and every single tale, each and every single page, sorry, say, is a double page spread. This I was advised against by children's book publishers. Oh no, no one's interested in that sort of thing. Oh Lord, what's the matter with you? You know nothing about publishing. Come to us. We don't even have children, but we know what's best for everyone. They all said, you know, don't do that. No, you don't need to do that. Children don't like it. Don't like full double-page spreads where they can have lots of things to see and enjoy. We have to give them rough and ready art. That's what they appreciate, you know. And I don't think they do. So I did it my way. And judging by the people who have seen it, they sort of feel the same way. I think the impression I get is that other people feel the same way as me, that yes, it would be nice to read a story to your toddler and have them look around the picture, sort of say, well, can you find this or can you find that? Gets them involved in the story as well. Gets them involved in books. So I guess we've got to have the little mice here somewhere. The two little mischievous mice. I know they're tiny, but if I zoom in, I've noticed, if I zoom in, you can't see a damn thing. It's already blurry. So that's no good. We don't want that. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm not my normal chippy chirper self. It's taking it out on me, taking it out of me. This cold. It's all like warm me down a little bit. And I've got a lot to do. Right, so that's that there. I think. Shall we? Yeah, let's give him let's give him a scarf. Because he has a scarf in the other picture, and they've all got scarves because they're out in the snow. God bless them. So are you all looking forward to Christmas? Are you all getting excited? I love Christmas. It's getting quite close. Yeah. It's very hard trying to make it a snowman and also recognisable. Not hard, but you know, you got to think it through a little bit more, I guess. Yeah. There we go. I think that's the goose and the one mouse. And then I think we'll have the owl here being his pompous best. And he's decided to be in control of the plans. He's not a relatively small character. Right, yes, so we will now be producing this page and then the next one, the final one, which I don't know whether I've mentioned this before because I've done two videos, the one I scrapped. So if I mentioned this before, I'm sorry, but I'm going to mention it again. There probably will only be one more after this, but that won't be next week. Because the final one, if I'm going to do it, I'm pretty sure I will, which will be to show the process of how I upload these particular videos. It's not big enough. It's not big enough in proportion to himself. He needs to be bigger. Yeah, so I won't be produce any more than one more. I think one more will do it. We'll see the whole thing done, and that'll just be the uploading process, I say, to Amazon. Some people are interested in that. Some people aren't. If you aren't, I'm sorry, the normal videos will resume afterwards. But because I have to have the whole book done, that's coloured and what have you, and put together, formatted, then a bit better, is it? Yeah, that's not all going to get done in a week, because I tend to draw these things pretty close. I fly by the seat of my pants. So you'll be getting this video probably on a Saturday, and today is the Friday. So I'm not, it won't be done in time. I'm not going to get all the other pages inked, sorry, coloured, formatted, and ready in 7 days. Yeah, so there you go. So what's going to happen now is after this video is done, the next one I do will be on a completely different theme. We'll go back to what I was doing before, whatever popped into my head. And then when I've got the whole book together, then we can see the final stages, and then can add that to the playlist. There is already a playlist of what I've done so far, and that's available in the link below. If not, just go to my page and see it there. Other than that, do the usual things. If you like this kind of content, you like to see some idiot drawing pictures and waffling on whilst he's doing it, sometimes making sense, but not very often. So if that's the kind of content you like, then like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave comments below, because apparently that messes around with the algorithms, and it makes more people come to the page and makes the channel grow. And I like the idea of that. I'd like to get it up to, it'd be nice to get up to 1,000 first of all, see how we get there, but still haven't got anywhere near that. Yeah, actually I'll have, I don't know what to do with this one now. Do I go have him? No, it doesn't seem to work, does it? We'll just have him looking at it. Get rid of that. Yeah, we'll just have him looking at it, and you can work out what the EJ's thinking. I know what we'll do. We'll continue that, and we'll have the rabbit calling him over. Because if you don't know the characters yet, Big Old Bear has a bit of a soft spot for the rabbit. It's a bit of a crush, unrequited love and all that. And who hasn't suffered a bit of that in their time? Yeah, there we go. And also, if you've heard a lot of noise in the background, that's once again it's the private school behind where I live. It's surprisingly warm at the moment in the UK. We're not used to these kind of things, but it is very warm, and I can't be drawing for this length of time without the windows open. So from time to time you may have heard little children laughing and giggling, and after all, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's a lovely sound. But yeah, if you have heard that, I won't apologise for the sound of children's laughter. I'll just apologise for the fact that I couldn't have the window shut. Maybe we'll have a tree up here as well. Why don't they? There's no reason why they shouldn't have a tree as well. It is winter. It is winter after all. And yes, one more thing I forgot about the trees is I normally do these little branches coming off of them. Just there. And I always do a couple of these. I know it's winter, but there's a tradition that says that if a tree ever loses all of its branches, it means that it's bad luck for the whole year. Which is why if you look at the trees, they've always got at least one or two leaves still on there. Not many. This technique here is something I discovered. I never learnt this off anyone. I just did it one day. I was drawing a nice little winter scene and I just started to draw these little hedgerows in the stark bleakness of a winter landscape. And I loved them. So I just keep on doing them now. It doesn't matter about the shape. It really doesn't matter. Because no matter how you do them, they're just right. So if you wish to learn little techniques about cartoons, then yeah, this is one. You can use this one anytime you like. Okay, and a few little mountains. Just to get a bit more sort of scenery. And we're pretty much done, I think. Put some bushes here. I do these in like a kind of a browny orange. Really gives a nice feel for it, nice wintry feel to the picture. But that's all to do with the colours. Right, shall we? Yeah, let's do a little bit of a. No, we won't. We won't. That's not gonna add anything to the picture. So there we go. There's the cover, the wraparound cover, front cover, back cover. I've left room for the writing. I've left room up here for the title. Bit of room down there for my name. There's room here for the barcode and the QR code if I want to do it. And if I want to add my information about the publishing company that I set up in company, sounds a bit grand, doesn't it? The name I've given my company, which is English Oak Press, then that can go down there as well. And yeah, so when you do these pictures or pieces of art, if you want to call them that, you always have to remember that even without the writing and the barcodes and all that sort of stuff, it still has to look like a picture. Something that you could just colour and people say, oh, that's nice, that's a nice little picture. If you don't do that, then it I don't know, it maybe shows in other ways. I don't know, maybe if it doesn't look like an independent picture on its own, well, independent obviously is on its own, if it doesn't work as an independent picture, then maybe it won't work as a cover. Maybe not. Anyway, that aside, the next time you see me, I think, because it's the Rugby World Cup coming up, I have got part shares in a print machine that does, mugs, sweatshirts, t-shirts, that kind of stuff. And I'm starting to put a couple of my designs together on that. So I'm unashamed. I'm not a sports fan. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not a lover. I wouldn't sort of spend an entire afternoon watching some kind of a game or a sport or what have you. So I'm not really big into my sports, but I do appreciate that a lot of people love it. And if you're trying to make a living in life, then it kind of helps if you yeah, it kind of helps if you sort of tap into these things. Right. Give them a... Oh, I forgot the other little mouse. Yeah, I've got to put the mouse on, haven't I? So yeah, so the next video will be, pardon my sniffles, will be probably something to do with the Rugby World Cup. And I'm going to do some mug designs to put on my stall. So I'll be showing you that, and then there may be a little bit at the end of it all to show you the process of it all. If not, it'll probably be on my TikTok channel. I've got one of them too. It's the same thing again. Diary of a Cartoonist, just as it is on YouTube. So yeah, go along and enjoy that as well. They're shorter versions. Hopefully, so my daughter's getting married next week, so I've got to write a speech and everything, so I'm quite busy at the moment with a lot of that stuff. But after all that's over with, I should be able to get back into some semblance of order. And I can start to produce more videos for both TikTok and this here YouTube. Right now, I'm doing these here, obviously snowflakes. I may not ink them in. I may just, when I've coloured it, just put white dots in there. I'm not quite sure. But for now, just give an indication of where everything is. Be a nice little snowy scene. Now, where are we going to put this final mouse? I have him doing something. I can't think what he might be doing. Oh, I know. There you go. Just have him poking his head out there. Yeah, poking his head out there. And let's not forget the bird. The bird's also got a little bobble hat and quite a decent sized scarf actually, because in all illustrations the scarf comes right the way down here. Yeah, there we go. I hope you enjoy this little series of mine. It was just an idea. I thought I might see how it went. And you go. Now you know where the worm is here, don't you? Yeah, just see how it went. So you know, if it was popular, then I'd do more based on the other stuff that I do. Maybe do another playlist on how I do this or how I do that. But failing that, like I said, there's a lot of playlists out there for you to look at. Right, that is it. This is as far as we go. I'm now going to go away and ink it and speed it up, and you can see all that process. And then I'll see you on the next Diary of a Cartoonist, which, like I say, I hope will be me producing that rugby picture. But until then, thank you once again for your time, your valuable time. It is very much appreciated. I hope you watched a lot of the video and not just disappeared off partway through or fell asleep. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you very much, and bye-bye for now.
you.